Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangl.
Well, get fired up for another episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast. My name is Joseph Sangl, and I'm with my co-host, Megan Hibbard. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Tell everybody what episode number we're on of the Monday Money Tip Podcast.
We are on episode number 32, and we're talking about debt-free vacations. So get fired up about that.
Woo!
Our question today,
we're getting right into it. I like this.
Well, it's about vacation, so I'm just excited.
That's awesome.
I love vacation.
Before you share that question, like when you think of vacation, does it always have a palm tree in your head?
Always.
Always. Okay. Just want to make
sure. We're beach people. And
okay.
So we every now and then we'll do the mountains. Like we went to Banner Elk, which is like near Boone, Asheville area. If you're not from North Carolina.
Western North Carolina.
Yeah. We did that a few months ago, and it was beautiful. I mean, we love the mountains, but there's nothing like the beach for us. Yeah. It's very relaxing. It's calming. My husband grew up in the Philippines and Indonesia, so it's that's home for him. The weather and palm trees and all that kind of stuff. They would go to the beaches lots of weekends, and my family was at the beach a lot, so we just love it. We like the Caribbean.
Yes.
All things.
I like the South Pacific. I like Hawaii.
I would like to go to the Maldives.
Where's that at?
Bucket list.
I've never been there.
Very far away.
Okay, so we've determined today, in today's helpful podcast, that the Maldives are very far away from South Carolina.
Very far. Other side of the world.
There you go. That's awesome. So that's the question of the day is where are the Maldives? But
I know where they are.
It's the question for me today. Tell everybody our question that we're going to be answering today, the featured question.
You guys should let us know where your favorite spot to vacation is, because if we haven't been there yet, maybe we will go.
Yeah,
on our next vacation.
I'm serious right now. I love to see all these Instagram feeds and all that stuff and put
it
it on the list.
Doesn't have to be exotic either. I mean, my family goes to Myrtle Beach every year. We love Oak Island, so it can be in the States. All right. Our question for today is, many people have started planning the vacations they want to take in 2019. How can they experience a vacation that doesn't incur any new debt?
It's a great question, and we can absolutely help them not incur any new debt. In fact, I remember my first ever debt-free vacation, and it was awesome. It was in 2003. First time I ever had one without debt showing up and dragging me further down into the money hole.
Yeah.
And so super excited to be able to answer that question today. But before we do that, it's time for that very special segment. What time is it? That's right. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by, or brought to you by, it could be both, by the banking section of the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not Next Step page. This is where you'll find all of our favorite banks who offer the best interest rates and zero fees. Check it out today by visiting www.iwbnin.com and click on Next Steps and select Banking.
That's awesome. And we really do like to point people to that, because people always have questions. How can they maximize their savings, and where are the best bank accounts? And it's through online banks, people that don't really have a lot of bricks and mortar locations. And the ones that we link there, you know what? We're not compensated, I don't think, by any of them, although they should.
Yeah.
But we really like them because we use them. And so that's why they're on there. So the ones that we talk about are Ally Bank, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Discover Bank, and American Express Bank. And we also have links to online checking accounts that actually pay interest. But for today's current money events section, is that awesome? Did I nail that?
There are no words.
I nailed it. Nailed it. The jingle is not stopping it. It can't happen. But every couple months, we like to update you on what's happening in the world of interest rates. And I'm also going to inform you when my new singing album comes out. But interest rates have a direct impact on your life. So I like to talk about the world of interest rates, and whether you're a borrower or, better yet, a saver, interest rates have an effect on your life. And I last provided an interest rate update back on the podcast episode number, Michael Jordan's number. 23. And it was in November. So it's been nearly 3 months since that time. So let's see what happened.
Yeah.
And again, I'll mention we're on the YouTubes. And so that's super exciting. And we are excited to be able to show some of the stuff that we're actually talking about. So you're hearing it if you're in driving, and that's awesome. But if you want to see some of the stuff we're talking about, YouTube is here filming us on location. Isn't that awesome?
Thank you, YouTube.
Yes, thank you, YouTube. But the mortgage rates, let's start with them. The 15-year fixed rate is at 3 7/8 as of the recording of this podcast. It's going to be releasing February 11th. 15-year fixed rates have actually went down 0.129% since we updated in November. And that's good. They've trickled down a little bit. Part of this is due to the more dovish appearance of our Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, who is saying, you know what, I'm not going to raise rates quite as rapidly as I did in 2018. He raised them 4 times, a full 100 basis points.
It's crazy.
And so 30-year fixed rate also went down. In fact, it went down pretty pronounced. It's now at 4 3/8 on average. It's down about 0.325% from our update in November. We're also going to talk about our savings rates. Hey, but I want to talk about mortgage rates. Hey, look, if you're looking to buy, you're looking to refinance, these rates I don't suspect will drop a lot. In fact, they have more of an idea of going up over the next year because the Fed chair has said they will lift the rates, I think twice they're thinking this year. So that's going to be another 50 basis points. That's going to drive up mortgage rates. And so if you're thinking about buying a house or you think about refinancing your house and fixing maybe you have a variable rate mortgage, it's time. I would say very good time to look into that. Savings rates, man, they have went up. It is so great. Marcus, my favorite bank account right now.
Yes.
Why are they my favorite?
Because they're the highest.
Because they're paying really good interest. Now, there's some other banks, some lesser known banks that are FDIC insured that I see that pay a little bit higher. But usually they have some rule that you have to use your debit card X number of times a month or something. I think they're making money from those credit card transactions.
Oh, yeah.
But these don't require any of that. These are $1 minimum balance, no fees, FDIC insured. And Marcus right now is paying 2.25%. Get fired up. That is awesome. And American Express and Discover Bank, man, they're up. The Discover Bank and American Express Bank are at 2.10%. And Ally has actually went up to 2.20%.
Wow.
And that is awesome. They're only 0.05 behind Marcus. That's breaking news as of this podcast. So that's super exciting. Ally and Marcus, neck and neck.
I like Ally.
Yeah. You use Ally?
It's my bank of choice.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great.
And I like Marcus. They've all great. And they all have to win at customer service.
They're awesome at it.
They don't have physical locations where you can go in and meet your local banker.
Yep. We did have, this is kind of a side note, but very similar to savings. We had a question last night come in from somebody that they asked, why should they have a savings account? Their husband just wants them to have a checking account. And so I feel like this really points to that too, of if you just have a checking account, you're not gaining anything.
That's right.
And you're not saving anything. We say savings is for under 5 years, investing is for over 5 years of when you need it. But these rates are the best rates we've ever seen.
It's the best rates
savings
that we've seen since 2010.
Yeah, just
That's
crazy.
Fantastic. So this is really good news for savers. I anticipate these rates will get up to about 3% over the next 2 years. And that will allow us to keep pace and maybe even beat inflation a little bit. And that's wonderful news for savers.
How high was it in 2010?
What
was the highest?
2008, 2007, it was actually up to as high as 5.5%.
Wow.
That's not been unusual. In fact, there were times when interest rates went out of control in the 80s, and you could make 12% on your money.
Yeah, back then I was still using a bank.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You're going into a
with
bank.
my 0.00001%.
So savings rates are up. So if your money is at a big bank, if your saved money is at a massive bank, name any bank, I'm telling you right now, you're getting a ripped off deal. I know it may be convenient for you to have it there at your local bank or whatever, but I suspect you're making about 0.04%. That's the average right now.
Yeah. And I know, I'm sure some of the other companies do it too, but Ally, they actually have a plug-in on their website where you can put in how much money you have, like how much money you'd put in your savings account, and it'll tell you what you'll make on it, and it will compare it with other banks too, so you'll be able to see, where you kind of
demonstrate that one day. On one of these episodes of how
and it really adds up.
These online banks work. They're fantastic. I love them. Mine has sub accounts. So in my Marcus account, In all these accounts, you can have sub-accounts. So they're called emergency fund, vacation fund. That's what we're talking about today, and several others. And then the other one for this current money events section is the CD rates. So a certificate of deposits. These come with some liquidity issues because if you pull it out, there's usually a penalty if you pull it out prematurely. So, you usually lose a quarter's worth of interest. And sometimes there's a greater penalty than that. So that 1-year rate is at 2.75%. The 3-year rate is 5 basis points higher, 2.80. The 5-year is at 3.10%. And so if you don't need the money for the next 5 years, I don't know if I would do a CD myself because I'm going to put that at some risk with investing. But if you don't like that risk, a 5-year CD may make sense for you.
Yeah. Awesome.
So that's it for today's current money events section.
Never going to get you to not sing it, am I? No. Too much joy. Okay, our success story today comes from William, and William said, "Our biggest financial win has been the ability to shift to a monthly budget. We had a savings already, but never did monthly budgeting. Sorry about that, or any budgeting for that matter. It was always a free for all. Because of a budget, we've been able to give to our church, and plan out our money wisely." Apparently, I'm struggling reading today.
That's awesome.
That's
what he's really saying. And William, thank you so much for sharing your success story. But ultimately, what William is saying is a budget has allowed him to maximize money more than not having a budget. And that's why I love budgets. And it's an underpinning of all of our financial decisions is to have a plan for our money. So great job, William. Keep it up. And let's see where you're at 12 more months from now doing that successful budgeting.
I do love that the last 2 success stories have both included tithing.
That's right. They've actually been able to become givers, a consistent giver.
Yep.
And there's nothing like giving consistently to causes that you're passionate about, your church and other items that will really give you more inspiration to be a better manager of the rest of the money, because it is a great feeling to know that you are helping the things that you're passionate about. That's awesome.
Yep. All right, so back to our featured question for today. So just to remind you guys what that is. Many people have started planning the vacations they want to take in 2019. How can they experience a vacation that doesn't incur any new debt?
That's awesome. It's a great question. Super excited to help you guys with this, because we're if you're listening to us anywhere in the upper half of the United States, you're cold,
buried in snow.
There's probably snow. There's ice. I just spent the weekend in some snow. It was awesome. I had one weekend event canceled due to like 12 inches of snow.
It's crazy.
And that's, people don't show up to church too often, when there's that much snow on the ground. But here's what I know. It's at that moment that you're longing of those warm beaches. You're longing to get away. And one of the things that we think about when it comes to vacation is that comes at a cost. We want to do it. But it comes at a cost. And if you've been struggling with money, vacation has different feelings. It has the enticement of being able to go somewhere and enjoy that place. But it also comes with that dreaded feeling of, oh no, here comes a bunch more debt. How are we going to pay for this? And all the expenses, you kind of dread it. And one of the things we want to help you do is to prosper with your money while also having fun. Like we promote having fun. Is that right?
Yeah. You got to have fun in the budget.
I love it. It says in the Bible, I came that you might have life and have it to the full. In 1 Timothy 6:19, it says, so you can take hold of the life that is truly life. God made the earth round. I think it's a sign that you should go around it. And he created all this world. I love being able to see the world. I think it changes my mindset. It's very good. I've got a quote about that here at the end. But the first thing that you have to do when it comes to having a debt-free vacation is believe. You have to believe that it is actually possible. If you've financed your vacations always before, you've used home equity to help pay for a vacation, used credit cards to pay for vacation, man, you have to believe that this is possible. And that belief is what will help you make better decisions with your money. But if you don't believe it's possible, you just live for the minute. And I remember, I had this older brother of mine who lived in Texas, and one year I was 14 years old. I had never flown anywhere. I went some places, but I'd never flown, and I always went with my parents. And my twin brother and I had plane tickets waiting on us to fly to Houston, Texas. Unbelievable. We flew through St. Louis on Southwest Airlines, the early Southwest Airlines jets, the brown ones. They're Boeing 737s, and me and my twin flew together. And my brother met us at the airport. We changed planes in St. Louis by ourselves. Don't ever remember any fear at all. Got on the next plane, and we showed up, and he had a wad of money. And he's like, boys, we're going to spend all this, and when it runs out, I'm sending you home. And I mean, my eye was open. And so we had a great vacation. He gave us the keys to his truck and told us to drive to Galveston. Oh, gosh. And illegally, which we didn't do. You know, it was awesome. But that makes your big brother like your hero. It's awesome. But I had that image of, you know, look, vacation, this is awesome. And then every year thereafter for spring break, the plane tickets showed up again. And I still don't know to this day whether or not it was my brother or my parents that were buying. I have no idea. All I know is for the next 4 years, we went 5 years. And it was awesome. And then I go to college, I get married, and my wife is the oldest of her family. I'm the youngest of 6. She's the oldest of 6. And she had all these siblings who were kind of early teenagers. And I remembered what my brother had done for me. So I wanted to pay it forward for them. So sure enough, plane tickets showed up for them to show up here in South Carolina during the early summer. And off we would go to Charleston, Myrtle Beach. I mean, those are good places to go, right?
Yeah.
Come to South Carolina, spend your money. It's awesome. The great places, Hilton Head.
Yeah,
beautiful. And I put it all on a credit card.
Yikesies.
They rarely got to go out to eat at really nice restaurants. We went to all of them. Yeah. All of them on a credit card. I mean, this is when I'm writing the I Was Broke part of my book.
Living it up.
Living it up. And I mean, you see, listen, they have great memories of it, and I wouldn't trade that. But I had forgotten one key differentiator between my brother Mike's blessing in my life and what I was doing for my little brother and sister-in-laws. What was the difference?
He had the cash.
He showed up with a roll of cash. I showed up with plastic, and it was awful. So you have to believe that it's possible. And I had to start believing that it was possible, and you can do this. And then the second thing is you have to change your definition of what a vacation is. You know, sometimes a vacation, when you're getting out of debt and you're broke as a joke, your vacation might be, hey, we have this tent that we had donated to us that has 4 holes in it, and we're going to put some little rubber cement on it and glue that up, and we're going to camp in a park, and that charges us $4 a day, and we're going to buy hot dogs from Aldi and Trader Joe's or Sam's Club, and they're awesome, by the way, and we're going to have the $100 vacation.
Down the road.
Right down the road or in your backyard. Right? Because you have to change your definition of vacation. And let me tell you, some of those vacations are way better than going to Disney and dropping $7,000.
Yeah, they make great memories.
They make great memories. And so you have to change your definition sometimes of what vacation truly is. And then you have to know the cost. You have to know the cost of the vacation. Because if you don't know the actual cost of the vacation, man, you will absolutely get smoked financially. Okay, so you have to know the cost of what your vacation is going to cost ahead of time, and then you have to plan for it. So once you know the cost, you need to plan for it. And I recommend using the mini budget tool. We'll have a link to that mini budget tool. Where can they locate the mini budget tool for those listening?
Find it on our website. So go to iwbnin.com and click under tools, and you'll be able to find it there.
Right. You can just go to tools and click on budgeting and download the mini budget. And you can put in different items like air travel, gasoline, a rental car if you need it, lodging, tickets, entertainment, food, souvenirs, all those different things. And it causes you to do research.
Yeah.
And then once you see the number, you're probably going to be frightened. And then you come back and say, how can I save money on that? How can I do that same thing for less? And by planning, you get a better deal. And as you go through looking at this vacation, it's very important to save the money now in advance of the vacation. We teach all this time about having a plan, and planning is before, right? And so here's some things. Why don't you share these things with everybody about what they should save for the vacation? Like, how can they do that?
Yep. So you can include it as part of your known upcoming non-monthly expenses.
Okay. So we have known upcoming non-monthly expenses, and we have a calculator.
We do.
So Christmas, property taxes, throw vacation in there.
Things that you know are going to happen.
Paycheck. You know they're happening. They're just not monthly.
Yep. So that's a great option. That's one of the things that my husband and I do. We save every month for our vacation in addition to other things. So money automatically comes out of our checking account when we get paid and automatically goes into
How
Ally.
awesome is that?
Yeah.
Get fired up.
So you don't even see
One
the
of
money.
the favorite line items of the budget.
It is. All right. So the second one is you can use a tax refund to pay for it.
That's right. In our last episode, episode 31, we talked about how to maximize your tax refund. And that can be a great way to save for your vacation.
Mm-hmm. You can also use a bonus to pay for it. So if you get these next two, I feel like can go hand in hand. So bonus or overtime. So if you have, you know you're going to be getting a bonus, hey, this time's coming up where I'm going to have to work overtime. Those can both be great options for a larger chunk of change coming your way.
My twin brother has a chance to work overtime. And you know what? When he does that, he has an idea of what that money's for every time. Because let's just face it, working extra hours isn't always our favorite.
No.
But when we know, hey, it's funding this vacation or this fun thing, it's a lot more manageable.
Right. All right. The next one is a side job. So maybe you have something that you can make and sell on Etsy or what would your side job be?
My side job?
Yeah.
Cutting firewood.
Cutting firewood.
Just chainsaw, sell firewood. How awesome
Out
is that?
there. This doesn't sound like my side job.
It's a great way of getting fired up. You can get your firewood on fire.
That's all right. And the next one is eliminate another expense for a while and redirect it towards vacation savings. So the gym, a streaming service, cable, etc. We're in February, so I don't know how many of you are still using your gym membership.
That's right. Yep.
But if you're not, you should cancel.
Yesterday I was doing financial coaching for somebody, and the bride had a CrossFit membership.
Those are expensive.
Yeah. I think it's like $145 a month, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And has not been in 2 years.
Oh, my God.
Has paid it every month.
Oh, my God.
And won't cancel it because she feels like that means she's given up.
She has given up.
I'm like, you have given up. So cancel it, right? And go get the $10 membership at the local gym until you figure out how to use it.
And that's what I do,
Yeah.
the $10 membership.
You can do it.
Or cable. You can cut cable. I love that one. We don't have cable. We haven't had cable. The only time I regret not having cable is like when big games are on, like the Super Bowl or national championship. But you have friends and they have cable. And
you've come to
they're
some
probably
of the Super Bowl parties. We've showed up at mutual friends' houses.
Yep.
And sure enough, their cable works.
Their cable works just fine.
And you know what? Their food worked too.
We're laughing all the way to the bank.
There you go. So that's a great list. And we'll include the list in the show notes, but it's a great different places that Megan just shared on how to save money and redirect money, really, for your vacation. And then, of course, there's one biggie, and that is to use cash while you're on vacation.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. There we go. There we go. That's how it's done. She's making sound effects now. It's rubbing off. But use cash because if you use a debit card or you use a credit card, you will not feel the pain of the cash leaving you.
Yeah.
And you will run out on day 4 of a day 7 vacation, on day 2 of a 3-day vacation. It's just the way it works. But if you use cash, you'll be a much better manager, and it will allow you to make sure you show up back at home with 0 new debt and just a boatload of great new memories.
That's awesome.
And so we have a quote that goes with this.
Yes. Our quote today says, a change of place plus a change of pace equals a change of perspective.
This is one of my greatest quotes that I've heard. I heard it from Pastor Mark Batterson.
That's a good one.
And he says this, it's a formula, a change of place, so somewhere different, plus a change of pace, you're doing something different, that equals a change of perspective. And when I go on vacation, some vacations takes me 2 or 3 days to get my mind out of all the running of the business and all that stuff.
Yep.
And other vacations, I'm there in a New York second. That usually happens for me when I'm on a cruise. Why? Because my change of pace is much more rapid. You're running around on a cruise ship. But and I'm also put the phone away. My wife has threatened to throw my phone in the ocean if she sees me on it. So, that's a pretty good
That's good
motivation. So, hey, change your place, change that pace. It equals change of perspective. Have a debt-free vacation. It's awesome.
Perfect. All right. Well, if you have any other questions about how to have a debt-free vacation, or maybe you have experienced a debt-free vacation for the first time, we'd love to hear from you. So email us at info@iwbnin.com. And our next episode is also going to be a great one. We're going to talk about how to never have a car payment. So our question for next episode is, Many people have always had a car payment and believe they should always have a car payment. How can people get out of this mindset and never have a car payment again?
Do you have a car payment, Megan?
I do not.
I don't have a car payment either. I haven't had a car payment since 2004. That's a long time.
Never had a car payment.
Woo! Get fired up, Megan Hibbard. So, in the next episode, we're going to talk about that great topic, and we're going to let you break up with auto credit.
Yep.
That's going to be awesome.
And if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You could do this by quickly rating our podcast and leaving us a review. These ratings and reviews help us make our podcast better for other listeners. And also make sure if you have questions, remember the last Monday of the month, we're going to be answering those money questions. So make sure you get those in. You can email us at info@iwbnin.com.
Who knows? It could be featured on one of our upcoming podcasts. And if you've implemented one of our tips, please share your success stories with us as well. We are fired up to help you advance your money in 2019. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.